We've mentioned it many times and we'll say it again. One of the greatest strengths of the GTA series is that the developers are extremely solid about creating every element of the game. Thanks to this, even beyond the plot of the GTA games, we can discover many interesting facts, such as those about the characters that will be the subject of today's video. We mainly wanted to focus on the characters that give Tommy missions, but there will be some other characters as well. Welcome to the Gaming Investigators channel, and let's get to work. First, we'll cover the facts about the two non-story characters, and then we'll move on to the main characters, so to speak. The first person is the so-called elderly woman, which you can see in the attached picture. The woman is 98 years old. Moreover, the woman mentions that she's retired and has decided to move to Vice City since she lost her job. Interestingly, she started working at the age of 19. What's more, the woman is friends with Moira, who helps her and is probably her caregiver. In addition, the woman has 4 children, and she's already had 5 husbands in total. On the other hand, a second person is a man whom we've named Drug Man by default. As we know from an advertisement for the law company Delio and Furax, it turns out that one day the police detained a man for inspection and found 15 kilos of drugs in his trunk. The man was to be sentenced to prison, but thanks to the activities of a law company, the case was turned against the car repair shop that sold the man a spare tire in which the drugs were found.
I was unfortunate enough to be found with 15 kilos in my spare tire. I was so mad at the auto repair shop that sold me that tire. Thanks to Delio and Furax, the district attorney saw it that way too.
In the meantime, it's time for the main characters, where at the beginning, we'll take a closer look at Tommy Vercetti. An interesting fact about this man can be found in the files of the VCBI services. Did you know that Tommy Vercetti was originally going to spend many more years in prison? Namely, as you may remember, Tommy spent 15 years behind bars because of the hardwood incident. A large number of players believe that this is the punishment Vercetti was sentenced to, but this is not true. When we look at the protagonist's files, it quickly turns out that the man has been released on parole. Hence, we can easily guess that the sentence was supposed to be longer, but for some reason, Tommy was released earlier. And then we move on to Sonny Forelli. Well, in one of the IGN interviews with Dan Houser, we can read that Sonny Forelli and Tommy Vercetti have known each other since childhood. This, in turn, indicates that Vercetti has probably been recruited into the mafia thanks to Sonny's recommendation. And as a result, the long friendship that these two have had makes Sonny's double betrayal even more shocking. The next character on our list is Colonel Juan Garcia Cortez. We all know that Cortez is immersed in various suspicious things, but adding the fact that he was sentenced to death 9 times in his own country until the events of GTA Vice City makes it even more serious. By the way, this country is probably Peru due to the Shining Path organization, which we talked about in the episode that is currently displayed in the tab. This is an interesting tidbit, something that you won't find on GTA Wiki, as it mentions the home country of Cortez is unknown. And now we come to the curiosity that is Mitch Baker. Mitch Baker, even though he's been behind bars 13 times so far, has also received a Purple Heart. This is something to be proud of, as the Purple Heart is granted by the President of the United States for fighting alongside the US Army. In Mitch's case, the award was granted to him for clearing out a village full of Viet Cong soldiers. Moving on, we come to Ken Rosenberg, a lawyer well known to all of us. Every GTA player knows perfectly well that Ken is strongly associated with the Forellis. As it turns out, Ken cheated in law school and very quickly went down the criminal path because he started working for the Forellis in 1978 when he was 25 years old. Another equally interesting character is the one-armed Phil Cassidy. As we remember, Phil is a die-hard military man. It even seems at times after his statements that he's a great soldier, but the truth is completely different. Military records show that Phil Cassidy was repeatedly rejected for service due to alcoholism and inappropriate temperament for combat. And now we'll move on to say a few words about Cam Jones. If anyone is curious why Cam Jones was in custody when we pulled him out in the No Escape mission, we can also tell you something about that. Well, it turns out that Cam was awaiting trial for attempted robbery. He was caught running down the street with a safe he couldn't open, and he was supposed to get approximately 10 years for that. The next curiosity will concern Mercedes Cortez, the daughter of Colonel Cortez. Although the woman does not play a large role in the game itself, the developers originally planned for Mercedes to officially become Tommy's girlfriend. In the game itself, several phone calls have been found to indicate this.
Tommy, it's me.
Hi, Mercedes.
Tommy, I'm so bored. When are we going to have some fun?
What do you mean?
Well, I know you're busy fighting and killing and corrupting people, but I just want to have some fun, so don't forget about me, okay?
Next up, another character on our list is the old man from the Printworks, namely Earnest Kelly. As it turns out, Earnest Kelly's voice actor is George DiCenzo, who provided the voice of the ruthless Ennio Salieri in Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven, who was the Don of the Salieri Mafia crime family. The next character will be Ricardo Diaz. As it turns out, in 1978, Diaz bribed the INS agency in exchange for receiving the so-called green card, which allowed him to reside legally in the United States. Diaz is Colombian, so he could not legally stay in the USA during the storylines of either Vice City Stories or Vice City without having the green card mentioned a second ago. Meanwhile, another curiosity will be about BJ Smith. You can mainly associate this man with the fact that he sells the Sunshine Autos car dealership to us. And it's all because BJ decided to stop his football career, which he started in 1981 and lasted until 1984. It was then that the man decided to try his luck in the business world.
That's why I'm making a comeback. I've been retired 2 years, and I'm telling you, selling cars or appearing in soft drink commercials is not fun compared to having 50,000 low IQ morons in Green Bay. Hi, I'm BJ Smith. In my long and illustrious 3-year career at the top of pro football, I whooped some serious ass and got paid for it. They didn't call me Death in Tight Pants for nothing.
After 2 years, that is, in 1986, BJ decides to return to the sport, but we already know that from the plot of the game. Then we have Avery Carrington, a great real estate mogul. The man is believed to be involved in several development projects and slum clearance programs. It ties in nicely with the story of the game. It's probably about actions that serve to increase the value of land prices, the value of which is originally lowered by Avery through the use of various illegal means, such as starting a gang war, as it was in the 2-bit hit mission. The last person we needed to rob a bank was none other than Hilary King. An interesting fact is that the cutscene with Hilary's death during the bank heist is a reference to Heat, a 1995 film. What's also worth mentioning is that the movie was directed by Michael Mann, who was also the executive producer of the Miami Vice series. Moving on, the next fact will be about the Vance brothers. As you remember, the Vance brothers don't seem to leave the city after the end of GTA Vice City Stories, which is not surprising. However, if we take a peek at the beta version of GTA Vice City, we'll discover that Lance and Victor have decided to move to Panama and Mexico, as evidenced by some deleted dialogue. The next person we'll talk about is Gonzalez. Did you know that Gonzalez's betrayal of Cortez was revealed by the developers long before the game was released? If we take a look at the VCBI file on Gonzalez, we might notice two suspicious things. First, the police know that Gonzalez takes bribes, which makes it easy to extract information from him. And secondly, he was spotted leaving Ricardo Diaz's mansion, suggesting that he's working with him. Moving on, the next character we're going to talk about is a local informant, Kent Paul. There's a lot we could say about this man, but we'd like to tell you a little story from his past, which you can find out about on his website. In 1979, 14-year-old Paul got an honorable mention after breaking up a school fight. In addition, Kent Paul caught his sister taking a shower with the local fireman, Martin. That's probably when he was sent to the Borstal Correctional Facility, which he mentions after the end of the storyline.
Paul, take it easy. I've been busy. Don't be an idiot.
I ain't no idiot, miss. That's what I said in Borstal. You all skip the trouble, son, because you're gonna get it.
And now let's talk about the Love Fist rock band, specifically about Jezz Torrent. Jezz Torrent broke up with his girlfriend because she wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Shari had to go because she wanted to be a Marine. We couldn't be together. Seriously, don't go there.
This is so sad. Do you have a tissue out there? Oh, Jezz, I'm so sorry.
But what's worse is that Jezz Torrent believes that he is the Love Fist and that the rest of the band members don't matter. He might be even planning a solo career in the future.
Love Fist is Jezz Torrent. I sing the songs, sweetheart. It's my face on the merchandise.
In the meantime, let's move on to two GTA Vice City characters who used to be called Mr. Black and Mr. Teal. Names Black and Mr. Teal are possible references to the 1992 film Reservoir Dogs because their names are known to be colors, and the jewelry robbers in that movie also used colors as code names so the police couldn't identify them. And now it's time to talk about Vice City's biggest star, Candy Suxxx. Candy Suxx's real name is Candace Shand. What's more, it's known that in 2002, the woman became an educator and a philanthropist. So as you can see, now this character has a completely different second face. Another person we must not forget is Congressman Alex Shrub. The man was elected congressman of Florida in 1980. Funny enough, to win the votes of the poorer part of society, the man, during his campaign, took pictures with voters and distributed candy bars to, as he put it, appeal to their most basic instincts. What's more, he promised to reduce taxes to 0. While under his administration, there was a 20% increase in taxes and a decrease in services following high taxes.
Absolutely. Those statistics are interesting, but like all statistics, they are also irrelevant. Let me give you a better statistic, Chavez. In 1980, when I was elected, you were, according to the intelligence gathered on you, a man with no mission. That's not entirely true, Maurice. My campaign also appealed to the poor, who were too stupid to understand what I'm saying, so I held up pretty pictures and I gave out candy bars to appeal to their most base instincts.
Mr. Shrub, you got elected on a campaign promising to reduce taxes to 0. But under your stewardship, we've seen taxes go up by 20% and services decline.
Nobody is interested in your statistic.
Going further, we've got a few words to say about Auntie Poulet. Fans who like to compare different versions of a game will surely like this curiosity. The point is that in the PS2 and Xbox versions, Auntie Poulet wears a purple dress. In turn, on the PC version, the dress is yellow. While still in the gang atmosphere, it's time for Umberto Robina. This character was voiced by a truly iconic actor, Danny Trejo. However, it seems that Rockstar North liked the man so much that the developers decided to create the character of Umberto Robina based on Danny Trejo's appearance. Going further, the next curiosity is related to the character of Doris, the dispatcher of our taxi company. Here, in turn, the woman's voice is provided by the extremely popular singer Debbie Harry, better known as Blondie. And in a way, the creators paid tribute to the singer because we can hear one of her songs on Wave 103 radio station. Another curiosity this time concerns the crazy owner of the ice cream parlor, Maude Hanson. You must have noticed during the cutscene that follows the purchase of Cherry Popper ice cream that Maude Hanson really hates children.
A baby! An awful, horrible, disgusting little boo-hoo! Mommy doesn't love you.
Well, perhaps her prejudice against juveniles stemmed from the fact that, as it turns out, she ran an orphanage in the past. The next interesting fact will be about film director Steve Scott. A lot of aspects shown in the cutscenes strongly indicate that the character was inspired by the highly respected director Steven Spielberg. Another thing is that Steve Scott is obsessed with sharks, which is a reference to the Jaws film. In addition, the man has a weird fetish to include mountains made of mashed potatoes, which is a reference to Spielberg's next film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Let us know which fact about which character was the most interesting for you, and be sure to write if you want to see more episodes of trivia about characters in the GTA series. Thanks for coming, take care, and see you soon.